Right now, without thinking about it, you just took a breath. You do it around 20,000 times a day. You have done it every single day since the moment you were born. And yet, there is a very good chance you have been doing it wrong your entire life. Not slightly wrong, fundamentally wrong. In a way that is quietly reshaping your face, degrading your sleep, flooding your blood with stress hormones, and making you more anxious than you need to be. The strangest part? You probably have no idea. Here is what you think breathing is. Air goes in. Air goes out. Your lungs do their job. Your body stays alive. Simple. Automatic. Nothing to learn. But the science tells a completely different story. Your mouth is not a breathing organ. That sounds like a strange thing to say. You have been breathing through your mouth your whole life, at least some of the time, and nothing catastrophically bad has happened. But researchers who study the airway have been watching what happens to the human body when it defaults to mouth breathing, and the findings are alarming. James Nestor spent years investigating the science of breath for his book Breath, published in 2020. He went through the literature, spoke with pulmonologists, dentists, and freedivers, and then did something unusual. He volunteered to have his nostrils surgically plugged for 10 days so he could breathe exclusively through his mouth, while a team of scientists measured what happened to his body. What followed was a slow-motion physiological disaster. His blood pressure spiked. His snoring became severe almost immediately. His blood oxygen levels dropped. His stress markers rose. His sleep quality collapsed. And all of this happened in 10 days just from switching the entry point of air from the nose to the mouth. 10 days. Now think about how many people sleep with their mouths open every night of their lives. Your nose is an extraordinary piece of engineering. It filters incoming air through a dense forest of hair and mucous membranes. It warms the air before it reaches your lungs. It adds moisture. It produces nitric oxide, a molecule that widens your blood vessels, regulates your blood pressure, and actually helps your lungs absorb oxygen more efficiently. When you breathe through your nose, you are not just taking in air, you are processing it, conditioning it, making it far easier for your body to use. When you breathe through your mouth, you skip all of that. Raw, unfiltered, dry, cold air goes straight in. No nitric oxide, no moisture, no temperature regulation. Your lungs have to work harder to extract the same amount of oxygen, and over time, the structural consequences of that extra work begin to accumulate. And then there is the question of how much you breathe. This is the part that surprises most people. You have probably spent your whole life assuming that breathing more is better. Deep breaths. Big gulps of air when you are stressed. Breathing exercises that tell you to fill your lungs to maximum capacity. More air, more oxygen, more calm. But the science points in the opposite direction. Your blood oxygen level right now is probably around 98 or 99%. That is already close to maximum. Taking a bigger breath does not meaningfully push that number higher. What it does do is lower your carbon dioxide level. Now here is where it gets counterintuitive. Most people think carbon dioxide is just a waste product. You breathe oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. The oxygen is the good stuff. The carbon dioxide is what you need to get rid of as fast as possible. But carbon dioxide is not just a waste gas. It plays a critical role in how your red blood cells release oxygen into your tissues. The mechanism is called the Bohr effect, discovered by Danish physiologist Christian Bohr in 1904. The Bohr effect says that when carbon dioxide levels in your blood are low, hemoglobin holds onto oxygen more tightly and delivers less of it to your cells. When carbon dioxide levels are appropriate, the opposite happens. Your cells actually receive more usable oxygen, so when you breathe too fast, or too deeply, or through your mouth, You exhale more carbon dioxide than your body needs to lose. Your CO2 levels drop. And as a direct result, the oxygen in your blood becomes less available to the tissues that need it. You are working harder to breathe and getting less actual benefit. This is the paradox at the center of modern breathing. More effort, less result. The physiologist Konstantin Buteyko noticed this in the 1950s working with patients in a Soviet hospital. He observed that the sickest patients were breathing the most. Not because their sickness was making them breathe more, though that was part of it, but because their over-breathing was making them sicker. He developed a method of slow nasal breathing designed to restore appropriate CO2 levels, and over decades his work accumulated clinical support for conditions incur